Queen of Blood? More like Queen of Boring. Hey everyone, the last Shoegazer here. Welcome back to another installment of About Last Nightmare. This is the collaborative movie review series I've been doing for some time now with my great friend Jason from Horrific Nightmares JM. We have taken a couple of weeks off from our weekly series, with our lives being pretty busy as of late. But we did get things back on track this past week and decided to have a first viewing of one that he and I recently got from Severin that is an Intervision title from Chris Alexander called Queen of Blood. While Jason and I both pretty much share the belief that any movie, whether people dub it to be good or bad, may or may not be a director or an actor's livelihood. I mean, it's kind of a work of art in a sense, and we usually try to focus on the positive aspects of any movie that we watch and review together, and try not to be too negative while still giving an accurate rating that reflects our feelings, whether they be more positive than negative or more negative than positive. But guys, in this case, this was one that we were really excited to see. Most titles that he and I have seen from Severin, this is my first Intervision title, and I know that is a different line. It's a little more like indie, sometimes more in the realm of like shot on video, a little less like produced, glossy. So we went into that kind of knowing that, but this was a complete and utter flop. While there were moments where some of the scenes meshed pretty well with the score, most of this was an over attempt to make something that I feel like should have been way more creepy and gory and unsettling. It just became so monotonous, so overly focused on what we were seeing rather than like the experience of a story. This was definitely not a linear, typical story, that you would read in a book or see in a typical movie with, the character development and establishing backstory, the build up, any typical story structure is not present here. And while some reviews have kind of set that up already, this just completely kind of bypasses that artful, unique style that I think he and I were kind of getting prepared to see, and it just completely dropped the ball, and got totally lost in extended sequences that were so boring and not creepy at all. Some of it did look pretty, a lot of wilderness, nature shots, and the costumes there. It's kind of like a period piece to a point up until the really crappy end that does not fit at all. It just, I don't know. It's just all over the place. Everything is like in slow motion. The crossfades between clips are painfully long, and there's even a lot of clips that are reused and kind of like done in reverse, and not like in a cool way. It's as though they just kind of like ran out of what to place in certain sections of the film, and whatever Chris Alexander was trying to go for here. I can kind of tell, that he wanted to make, a different kind of like art house kind of film here. Definitely very indie. But I think what he was going for was a conscious effort for something atmospheric and unsettling and brutal. But it just, I don't know. There's underacting, there's overacting, stuff that's not believable. All of the different kill sequences are the same. We're looking at like a kind of a vampire girl here, the queen that we see here on the front, and there on the second still, and the third one there. I'll let you read the back there if you'd like, while I'm talking. But it's just really really not well done. It's a painful watch from start to finish. He and I gave this the lowest score that we've ever given a film. This is a 4 out of 10. He was actually kind of between a 3 and a 4, and I was kind of more of a 4, just for the, I guess, the recognition of some of the prettier nature shots, and how there is a little bit of atmosphere there that could be the setting for a really great horror film if they pulled it off right. But I mean, they spent so much time just focusing on these long shots of this vampire temptress, just kind of like roaming through the woods and kind of just traipsing around bushes and weeds and vines and stuff. And it's not balanced with anything horrific. There's some sped up shots where, she like goes in for the kill, but then half the time it's either they cut out right when you're, about to get the goods, or it's just this weird little like neck grab that she does, and there's fake blood like all over the place that doesn't even look that good, and it's almost like she's like massaging their neck. They didn't even try to make it look realistic or use any kind of like fake flesh or any kind of gore at all. It's very much not believable. It's almost laughable, and they did not, I guarantee you, they did not go into this wanting to have it look cheesy or hokey, or it's not one of those ones where they're self-aware of how kind of fake it looks. I believe, and I think Jason probably shares the same sentiment here, that they went into this wanting to make it a very serious, kind of like gothic vampire tale, which is, as you can see, the sequel for Blood of Irina, which is a feature film that comes right before this one, I guess. And yeah, it's included in this DVD, in the special features, but I don't even know if he and I are going to mess with seeing that at this point. We decided to start here since this is more of like the official like first release by Severin and Intervision. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm even going to see the first one that this is supposedly a follow-up to, because of how let down we were. I think he and I were kind of ready to get About Last Nightmare back on track and see one that was really different and super creepy, and he and I were like completely let down. So I would definitely not recommend seeing this, and I believe that Jason's probably not going to recommend this either. Whenever you check out his part 1, where he's gonna share some backstory and some interesting facts about this, which I'm actually very interested to hear as well, to kind of frame what we just saw a little bit better and to get a better understanding of the approach and maybe what they were going for. While this is just my opinion and he's just going to share his opinions, I don't think they hit the mark that they were going for. But that's just my interpretation. I mean, and it says here, macabre and effectively creepy. It feels like stuff ripped from a nightmare. Well, it just feels like stuff that was thrown together in an overly dramatic, strange way with terrible acting, terrible special effects, almost like no special effects. They just used fake blood and didn't even bother to do any kind of like makeup or anything. The people were just kind of like letting it ooze out of their mouths, or like writhing in like an over dramatic, strange way. The guy in this, I don't even know his name, but it's almost like they built him up to be this like amazing actor who like was really creepy in this, but he was just like really strange and not good. um, and yeah, just some of the scenes just looked so fake and like just stupid. I guess I just kind of fixated on like the nice areas that they found to shoot this. It almost looked like an area that I don't live too far away from, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A lot of like farmland, which they did make look pretty creepy, but like a barn that they used the same shot like 5 different times in like a 5 minute time span, which was just really strange and off-putting. And the barn that they obviously like had some scenes take place in wasn't even the same barn that you were seeing, and it was obvious. So I think what they were going for here was way different than what the product is here. So yeah, 4 out of 10. I don't want to rip this up anymore because I don't like dwelling on negativity, but he and I were just so surprisingly let down by this. I mean, he right out of the gate, he's like, man, this is like, this is a dud, and it better get better. He called it the queen of crap. I couldn't get out of my head, queen of boring. Just kind of little things that he and I were kind of going back and forth with, and it was kind of surprising. So, the fact that he and I were kind of interacting in that way and not like really having a blast or like being like, oh my gosh, did you just see that? Or, oh, that was so cool. Or, oh my word, that was really, really intense. Just some of the stuff that we usually message back and forth with. I mean, we were just like really let down, and really ripping this apart in like a bad way. So do not get Queen of Blood. I wouldn't even like be curious about it, because it's just, I strongly believe it's going to let you down, especially if you're a fan of like vampire films. There's no biting, there's no fangs. I don't know if they wanted her to be like a vampire or just like a temptress, or something that just kind of like, she's obviously kind of overcoming the mind of different people that she just randomly interacts with and stumbles upon in her traipsing through the wilderness journey. And this creepy, terrible actor of a guy in a black hat, just trying to like lure people in and kill them off in really stupid ways. I don't know, just through and through, this thing did not hit the mark. Very boring, very drawn out, almost painful. There were times where we were like, okay, that was a good spot to end it, and then like there was more. So I'm gonna show a clip here just to kind of like show you how drawn out like one of the scenes is, so you can kind of get a feel for like the non-engaging, interesting content that this has to offer. Every time I was thinking, okay, I want to see something awesome happen here. This is a good spot for something really cool to happen, or for some gore, for some horrific, unsettling, atmospheric stuff. Yeah, didn't happen at all. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna check out the Blood for Irina, the original film that's included here. I almost regret getting this from Severin and spending money on it. Too bad I can't send it back. So yeah, check this scene out and then hop on over and check out part 1 on Jason's channel, Horrific Nightmares JM. And until next nightmare, have a good one.